Yo guys, what is up? My name is Gian and welcome back to FPL Tribe. In this video, we're going to discuss a couple of players that I saw in game week 1 that really looked good. Players that was creating a lot of chances, looking like a goal threat. So if you guys enjoy the video, give it a like, give me a subscribe, and let's get into it. The first player I would like to talk about is Tierney from Arsenal. And I know what everyone's thinking. I don't want a player from Arsenal in my team, and I can totally agree with you guys on that. But looking at Tierney, the only bright spark in that whole Arsenal team for me, coming in at 5.5 million, a really differential option as well at 7.9% ownership. So looking at his stats, expected goals of 0.14, that's not too bad for a striker, for a defender. Expected assist of 0.32, and this is where I like Tierney. He created 6 chances and had 2 shots inside the box. For a defender, that's really attacking. And if you watch the game, you saw him in a lot of attacking positions, putting in really good crosses. He probably had the ability to get 2 assists in that game. So for me, someone I'm looking at, probably not now because of the fixtures. They face Chelsea and Man City in game week 2 and game week 3. But then the fixtures really turn for Arsenal, and this is where I would be looking to bring him in. In game week 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, they have really 5 games that's really good to attack for him, where I can see them getting more defensively solid and keeping clean sheets at least in 3 or 4 of those games. And with Tierney, the way he attacks, you can almost look at 3 returns as well. So for me, someone that's really exciting, but I would like to see Arsenal get better on the defensive side first. The second player on the list is Salah from Watford. Someone that I'm still really surprised is with Watford at the moment. I thought after his first season in the Premier League, he would get a move to one of the bigger clubs, or at least just someone in the Premier League, because he was so good in that season. But he went down with Watford and came back straight up with them. So for me, really someone that's looked very attacking. And this is where you come into playing with stats and watching the games. Because if you watch the game, he was probably the best player on the field, the most attacking player. But if you look at the stats, it doesn't really compare. They don't agree. So expected goals of 0.15, that's not too bad. Expected assist of 0.11. The problem I have with him, as you guys can see there, he created 4 chances. But the problem will be there's not a good striker in your Watford team. So he can provide all the balls and the strikers will probably just waste it. So I don't know if this is someone I would want in my team, but if you guys want to take a risk on him, he is probably the best player that Watford has in attack and will give you the best value for money as he comes in at 6. There's not a lot of good players at that price. It's only Ben Rama and Harris. So if you guys want to swap between the 3 of them with whoever has the best fixtures, I think that's something you can try. But for me, it's still a little bit of wait and see if this Watford can perform like that first game every game, or was just because this was the first game back in the Prem and they were really excited. And I think the fans being back contributed to a lot of that. So for me, someone that looked really exciting until you see the stats. But I'll definitely be looking at his next games to see how he does. Because Watford fixtures really takes a turn in game week 4, where they start against Wolves, Norwich, Newcastle, Leeds. In those 4 games, I feel if he plays like he does in the first game week, you can really get a lot of points from him. But that is if he can keep it up. I'll look at the next 2 games just to see if he continues being that attacking, and then I'll make a decision on him. But I really like him for those 4 fixtures. The third player on the list, and this is someone that I really regret taking out in those last minute tweaks that I did to my team, Mason Greenwood from Man United, coming in at 7.5 million, really low ownership. If you look on Twitter and YouTube, he was in almost all the teams. So this is really a surprise looking at that ownership, that it's so low. And like I said, I really regret taking him out. I swapped Barnes for Greenwood, and now I'm regretting that decision already. He looked really good. Again, watching the game and the stats, they look like it doesn't compare because the stats doesn't look too good. But if you saw him play, he really looked good and passed the eye test. I think it's because he drifted out to the left a lot, and Pogba came into the middle, and Bruno was playing more as a striker than he does. So that is something that I'll look for in the next game and see if he still does that. If you take a player for a striking position, I don't want someone that goes out onto the wing like I see Ollie Watkins doing with Danny Ings there as well. I know he didn't play in the first game, but I think Ollie Watkins is going to be more of a wing than a striker. And I see the same with Mason Greenwood here. He goes out to the left a lot, and that's not really someone I would be looking for if they say he's playing as a striker, because he played more like a winger. So for me, I regret taking him out, but after watching the game, I feel less worried because he wasn't in the most attacking positions, and the most attacking player was actually Bruno Fernandes, and I have him. So someone that might score a lot if he plays in the center, but like I said, drifting out to the left too many times for me, but a really good option for his price as well. The next player, and I think everyone suspected this, Heung-min Son from Tottenham Hotspurs, coming in at 10 million. So this is why I think a lot of people don't have him. It's really hard to fit Son, Bruno Fernandes, and Mo Salah in your team. And probably most of the people went with Bruno Fernandes and Mo Salah and left Son. You can get all three of them, but that takes a lot of bit of value out of the rest of your squad, and it makes the whole squad weaker. For me, the team just looks more balanced with Son not in. But after a game like he did in his first game week against probably the best team in the league, I think a lot of people would be excited by him. And if Harry Kane moves and he plays as the striker up top, I think it's a really good option. But my only problem is they set up in a very counter-attacking way. And when they play against the better teams with Kane not there as the main creator like he was last season, I want to see how they set up in those games, who's going to be the attacking player when they have the ball. And that's why I'm still going to wait on Son and just see how they do probably in the next two games where they have Wolves and Watford, where they will have more possession of the ball, just to see who's the creative mind in the team and if Son still gets into those attacking positions that he did in the first game. The last player on the list, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, for me, a real surprise of the first game week. I didn't expect him to start. He was in some of my drafts that I did in place of Danny Ings. Then I decided to go with Ings rather, just because the fact that Calvert-Lewin missed a lot of preseason. Actually, he missed the whole preseason with a toe injury, and that's what took me off from him, and rather decided to go with Ings, as I wanted someone that's a definite starter, especially if you're going to pay 8 million. It takes up a striker position as well. So I'd rather go with the player that was set to start from the first game week. And now, after that goal, I think he's on a lot of people's mind for bringing him in for Ings. After Aston Villa's first three fixtures, it really turns for the worse. And I think if Ings can stay at 8 million, it's a straight swap from Ings to Calvert-Lewin. And from everyone on this list, Calvert-Lewin is probably the first one from the watch list that will make it into my team after game week 3. Really excited by him, the amount of chances he got. As we know, he's probably one of the best headers in the Premier League. And it looks like Everton is setting up to play a lot of balls in through the air to him and Richarlison that was playing as two strikers. So for me, really exciting. If he gets all those opportunities that he got, as you guys can see, this is exactly what you want when you look at the stats from your striker. 0.94 expected goals. That's basically a goal for the game. He got his goal from the beautiful diving header. Also, the other stat that I really like is those shots inside the box. Most of his shots, or almost all his shots, comes from inside the box. And for me, that shows that it's quality chances, and some or other time he's going to put away more of them than he misses. And then I really want to be on him. So for me, someone that's probably coming into my team in game week 3 as soon as those fixtures turn. So guys, that's it from me for this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a like, give it a subscribe, and please put down in the comments who's on your watch list. What player impressed you the most in game week 1? Good luck for the game week 2, and I hope you guys have a good week. Cheers.